taking time out with Premier Sports Officials Association. We are bringing you today 2025 baseball umpire practice number 4, over pitching. And the topics we're going to cover today are pitching positions, pitching violations, trips to a pitcher, and balks that a pitcher cannot do to gain an advantage over a runner. The first pitching position, which is a legal position to deliver a pitch, is windup. This is when a pitcher is facing the batter. The pivot foot is in contact with the pitcher's plate, and the other foot is free. So the pivot foot is going to be the same foot that the pitcher throws with. So if it's a right-handed pitcher, the right foot is the pivot foot. If it's a left-handed pitcher, it is the left foot. That's the pivot foot. And that free foot can be anywhere. On the side of the rubber, equal to the rubber, behind the rubber. Once they are in the wind-up position, we have to be ready to umpire. That pitcher can take one step backwards with that free foot and then one step forward with that free foot. We're not going to be nitpicky if that first step is sideways. It just cannot clearly be 2 forward steps. So you want to watch that free foot initially during the delivery. And then from this position, the pitcher could actually do 3 things. Deliver a pitch. Yes, pick off to a base without becoming a fielder. They could step directly to third, directly to first, and throw the pitch, as so long as they don't start a natural movement to show they're delivering a pitch. Then they could also disengage. When they disengage, they must use their pivot foot. And while disengaging, they cannot disengage in a fashion to show that they are starting the delivery to pitch the ball. So there are times pitchers with a runner on third base are in the windup. They're right-handed. They step backwards with their right foot while lifting their hands as they would normally do to deliver a pitch. That is not legal, which we'll get into with balks. So we're going to show some examples of windup positions. So here's the first example. We have the pitcher facing the batter. His right foot is the pivot foot. He takes one step backwards with his left foot. In one continuous motion, delivers the pitch. So coaches ask, is this legal by moving the baseball out of his hand and glove and then delivering the pitch? And the answer in the wind-up position, yes. When we take a look at the rule, the only thing that limits this pitcher is one step forward, one step backwards, and he delivers a pitch. It doesn't say how he has to deliver the pitch. So this is a legal wind-up position. One step backwards, one step forwards, pivot foot remains in contact with the pitcher's plate, and he delivers the pitch in one continuous motion. Legal pitch. Pitch number 2, is this a legal wind-up position? And the answer is yes. Pivot foot is in contact, free foot takes one step backwards, one step forwards. This is a legal wind-up position pitch by rule. Just because it's different does not make it illegal. We have to understand the rule. Facing the batter, one step backwards, one step forward. Delivery of the pitch with the pivot foot in contact with the pitcher's plate in one continuous motion. Legal pitch. Now the most traditional wind-up position. The pitcher is generally facing the batter. Right foot is in contact with the pitcher's plate. And this is what we're talking an example of, is that first step backwards? As long as it's clearly not forwards, we are going to consider it backwards. So this would be a legal windup pitch as well, even though that first step is not clearly backwards, it is not clearly forwards, which is legal. If you see pitchers warming up and that first step is clearly forward towards the batter, that is the time to let the pitcher and coach know that first step must be backwards, and by philosophy, backwards is not clearly forward. But this would be a legal windup position pitch. The second position, and a pitcher cannot legally pitch from this pitching position. This is what we call the stretch. So one hand is on the side or behind their back. Sometimes you see them swinging the hand on the side of the body. The ball is either in the glove or throwing hand. So it's prior to those two hands coming together. And the pitcher, if it's in their hand, cannot hide the ball from the base runners. So it's behind their back in their hand. It's on the side in their hand. It cannot be by the belt buckle, because then the runner can't see what the pitcher's doing with the ball. But if the ball is in the glove, that is not considered hidden, because the runner knows if the pitcher reaches into the glove, they are reaching for the ball. The big thing about this stretch position, they cannot legally throw a pitch from this position. So with the hands separated, they can't just grab the ball and throw a pitch. They must come to a set position to legally throw a pitch. And the set position is hold both hands in front of the pitcher's body, come to a complete stop with runners on base, and with no runners on base, the pitcher does not have to come to a complete stop. However, they must deliver a pitch, and that pitch cannot catch the batter off guard. What does that mean? What is the interpretation of catching the batter off guard? Let's give you the example. So we have the pitcher right now in the stretch position. He has not brought his hands together. The batter is in the box. He is still getting ready in the box, which he legally can do. He has time to regroup himself. He has time to face the pitcher himself and get his hands up. If this pitcher throws a pitch when the batter's eyes are down, hands are down, this is an illegal pitch prior to the batter being ready. This is throwing a pitch to catch the batter off guard and is illegal. So what do we do? How do we handle this situation as an umpire? If it's the first time this pitcher does this in a game, I'm calling time right now. Time. I'm stepping out from the catcher. I am pointing at my eyes, and I'm telling the pitcher, you cannot deliver the pitch until the batter is looking at you as a pitcher. Now, if the batter is delaying, there are penalties for that, as discussed in strike video. But this is the pitcher video. We're going to focus on this batter still had time to get ready. This batter is not looking at the pitcher, and the pitcher is delivering a pitch. This is time on the first time the pitcher does this. If the pitcher continues to do this action, throwing a pitch prior to the batter being ready to catch the batter off guard, it is now no runners on base, ball, B-A-L-L, because there's no runners putting at a disadvantage, it's only the batter. When this happens, if you call time and you tell this pitcher that that was not a legal pitch, I call time, therefore the pitch didn't happen, let the coach know. The pitcher has to wait until that batter has their hands up and is looking at the pitcher. Now, the batter can't take forever, but the batter in normal rhythm should be able to do it within 10 seconds. The pitcher should not even come from the stretch to the set until that batter has eyes up, hands up, ready to hit. Now we're moving into pitching violations. Many times umpires, in between innings, we're like, whew, break time. False. We, as home plate umpires, need to watch the pitchers warm up. Once that pitcher has the ball, they now have 1 minute, 60 seconds, and they have up to 8 warm-up pitches. So coaches out there watching the video, if you truly time your team from the last recorded out to when your players get out to position, it's really over 2 minutes many times, and umpires are not enforcing this rule correctly. So umpires, this rule is in place for the pace of play and to not allow a team to delay a game to gain an advantage on timing restrictions. So yes, on cold days, can the pitcher have more than 5 warm-up pitches? They have up to 8 within a 60-minute window. Coaches and players, encourage your team. Be ready to take the field, run onto the field, warm up with good pace, and then the old defense, get that first hitter of the inning ready to go within 60 seconds of when that pitcher picks up the ball. Once the inning starts, the pitcher has 12 seconds to deliver the ball after the batter is ready. So here we are. We got the pitcher on the rubber, catcher in the box, batter ready, play. That batter has 8 seconds to get his hands up, eyes on the pitcher. That pitcher now has 12 seconds to deliver the ball once that batter is ready. If a batter delays, doesn't remain in the box, and they're not ready within 8 seconds, that is a strike on the batter. That batter is ready, and that pitcher now is in the set position or wind-up position and failing to deliver a pitch. They're trying to freeze the batter. Umpires, do not give the batter a timeout because the pitcher is delaying to pitch the ball. Give the batter a ball if the pitcher does not deliver the pitch within 12 seconds after the batter is ready. The only time we should give a batter time is if there's a safety concern, sweat in the eyes, dust in the eyes, bug in the eyes, or if it's a windy day, dry field, and there's a bunch of dust on the field, yes, time. But if it's 1-2, if it's 0-2, that pitcher is in rhythm, and that batter's trying to get the pitcher out of rhythm, we cannot allow that batter timeout just to get that pitcher out of rhythm. Batter has 8 seconds, pitcher has 12 seconds. Next one, while in the 18-foot circle, if the pitcher touches their mouth without wiping their hand, goes straight to the baseball, that is a violation. First time, switch baseballs, warn the pitcher to wipe off after going to their mouth. Every time after, it is a ball, B-A-L-L, even if somebody's on base. The pitcher cannot gain an advantage by gripping the ball on the batter. That's why the award is to the batter. It's an advantage over the batter. If the pitcher does this while on the pitcher's plate, it is an automatic ball, no warning. Exception, cold days, the pitcher can blow on their hands. They can't lick, but they could blow on their hands, and this is a safety thing. They have to keep their fingertips warm so they could feel the baseball. If pitchers lose feeling of their fingertips and they start pitching the ball, that ball could go wild, crazy, and get other players injured. So that's why they're allowed to blow on their hands, not lick their hands on cold days. Really quick, pitching violations. We see an uptick in this in college baseball. We have not seen this quite a bit in youth or high school baseball. But if a pitcher spits on the ball, it is clear, you see them spit on the ball, that is an automatic ejection of the pitcher. If they deface the ball, what we mean by defacing the ball, sandpaper in their glove, a tack in their glove, and they are manipulating that ball to deface it, automatic ejection. And then having a foreign substance on their body, it could be on their belt, it could be on their hat, it could be on their leg, it could be on their arm because it's clear, such as that spider tack. If the other coach says, something's not right with that pitcher, that ball's moving way too much, bring out the head coach of that pitcher. If you have a partner, bring your partner in and check out the pitcher. Where was that pitcher going to their body that's not normal, especially on 2-strike counts off speed? If you find foreign substance, it's an automatic ejection for that pitcher. What we said and what we expect umpires to do. Don't be going to look for foreign substance. If the other team brings it to your attention, however, get your partner, get that other head coach and that pitcher all together and inspect the potential pitching violation together. Next one, we have intentionally thrown pitch ball at a batter. So we know if it's intentionally thrown at a batter, typically by the response of the batter who got hit or the coaching staff of the other team. You know, there are games within games in baseball. And this game within games in baseball has no room in high school baseball, in college baseball, in youth baseball. All right, so if you get a reaction that a potential intentionally thrown ball is at the batter, after that, time, hit by pitch, take your base, and warn both teams. That's your warning, and that's your warning. So if it happens again and there's a reaction, now we have an automatic ejection of the pitcher and the manager. So let's take a look at an example of giving a warning after intentionally thrown at a batter because of the reaction of the team that got hit by the pitch. So the batter was kind of disgusted, like, come on, really? And the umpire comes out and he warns both teams with strength and with confidence. All right, so this is not, quote unquote, an egregious act. 3-0 count, nobody out, top of the second. All right, but we don't want this behavior in the rest of this game. So he is warning both teams. So if another pitcher retaliates or this pitcher does it again, it is going to be an automatic ejection of the pitcher and the coach. Now, let's say it's egregious. Everybody knows the pitcher did it on their own. Now there's an automatic ejection of the pitcher. If it's before the warning, it's not an automatic ejection of the manager. But if you know in your gut and everybody else knows in the field that the pitcher threw a pitch intentionally at the batter, eject the pitcher immediately. Let's take a look at an example. Now we know definitely intentional. And this is why we want to eject. We don't want fighting at any level of baseball. What we see on TV is different than reality in our lives. So if we get an egregious reaction by everybody at the field, eject the pitcher and prevent anything from escalating. Doesn't happen too often, but it has happened. So intentionally throwing a pitch at an umpire. A lot of people involved in this. No warnings have to be given. If you as an umpire have obvious information that the pitcher and the catcher were in cahoots to allow a pitch to hit the umpire, we're going to eject the pitcher, we're going to eject the catcher, and we're going to eject the manager. There's absolutely no room in the game of baseball for intentionally allowing a pitch to be thrown and hitting an umpire. Let's take a look at an example of egregious situations where this has happened. So this is going to be a collection of pitches. Close pitch, strike 3 against the Tigers. Close pitch, strike 3 against the Tigers. Close pitch, strike 3 against the Tigers. Close pitch, ball 4 for the Indians. So now you can see how a team can be frustrated. As an umpire, we probably feel this buildup of frustration. So later in the game, we have home plate umpire, working his slot like he's supposed to work his slot. We have the catcher going outside. We have the fastball coming inside, and the catcher all of a sudden doesn't get his glove on it. This is enough information that this was an intentionally pitched ball that hit the umpire. There's no way that a catcher that has been catching the ball all game long all of a sudden doesn't get his glove on the ball. In these extreme, egregious situations, this is where, even as a partner, eject the pitcher, eject the catcher, eject the manager. Whether a judgment call is going a player's way or not going a player's way, they cannot do this type of physical contact against another human being. Our next tip is pitching trips. It's one trip by a manager or coach per inning per pitcher. So if a team never takes out a pitcher and they're playing a 7-inning game, they're allowed 7 trips. One trip per inning per pitcher. Now let's say a team goes through 15 pitchers. Once a manager uses a trip for pitcher number 1 of that inning, they bring in a second pitcher, they get another trip for that pitcher in that inning. All right, so the first case play we're going to talk about. Coach comes out due to pitcher showing signs of injury or illness. Is that a trip? And the answer is no. And that's why this home plate umpire is out at this meeting. We are making sure that the coach, assistant coach, if a team does have an athletic trainer, they are not talking any strategy. If they talk strategy, then we are going to charge a trip. But if we remain out there as an umpire the whole entire time, they're only talking about injury or illness. When the coach and athletic trainer leave, we are now going to communicate no trip. It was injury and illness. Over communicate that no trip was given. What happens if a coach makes a second trip in the same inning to the same pitcher? It's an automatic removal for that pitcher. Remember, they cannot do that during the same batter in an inning. So the case play is this. The previous batter was called for ball 4. The coach leaves the dugout right away. We cannot allow that coach that trip until the batter touches first base. So do not let the coach cross the fair foul line until the batter touches first base. Once that batter runner touches first base, that at-bat is over. Now we call time. Now the coach can make their trip. So now it's a trip to the next batter coming up. Now it's a 3-0 count. The coach wants to come out of the dugout for a second trip, but it's the same batter. We as umpires have to warn the coach he cannot come out. If that coach continues to come out, that coach is ejected, the pitcher will complete the at-bat, and the new pitcher has to come in at the completion of that at-bat 8 warm-up pitches. That pitcher was not taken out of the game because of injury or illness, so that new pitcher has 8 pitches to be ready. Now, the exception, if the coach comes out after the walk and talks to that batter, then the coach says, hey, we are going to pinch hit number 23 for number 13. Now that coach can come out a second time, but it's an automatic removal of that pitcher. So again, there is not much time off as a baseball umpire during the game. In between innings, 60 seconds, 8 warm-up pitches. Pitching trips, we have to, is it a trip? Is it an injury? What trip and what is the next batter up? We cannot be caught off guard. We're going to finish this training tape on balks. There are 14 illegal actions a pitcher cannot do to gain an advantage against a base runner. Now, pitchers could do a lot to gain an advantage on a base runner, but these are the 14 acts they cannot do First, they cannot start a motion to deliver a pitch and then not deliver that pitch. Remember when I said wind-up position, run around third base, they move their hands upwards as they disengage? That is a balk. They had started their motion. That looks like the start of the pitch. They did not deliver a pitch. They disengaged from the rubber. That is a balk. Let's take a look at some more starting the motion to pitch, but then not pitching the ball. This first one, you're going to watch the pitcher's glove. It's not the motion of give another sign, but it's the motion from going from the stretch to the set, which is the natural motion to begin the delivery of a pitch. So watch the glove hand. It's about to come towards the baseball. It's not a clear out in front, give me a new sign from the catcher. In youth baseball, we are not looking to call this a balk. This is a balk by rule. This is Major League Baseball, and that run is going to score, and the game is over. But we do not want to call every single small balk. The level of play is going to determine our threshold. So this is an example of that glove hand coming towards the ball to come from a stretch position to a set position. And if they stop coming to that motion, it's a balk. Make these much larger than what we saw in this video. But they cannot start bringing their hands together and stop bringing their hands together. It causes a disadvantage to the runner. This is a much easier one to call. We have a clear start to deliver a pitch, a step forward, another step forward, and we don't have a legal pitch thrown. So though it was an illegal pitch, since there was runners on base, it now turns into a balk. If there was no runners on base, it would be a B-A-L-L, ball. But we have the start of the delivery to deliver a pitch. The pitch is not legally delivered with a runner on base. Balk. This is a balk in all levels. It's just too big. Everybody sees this balk. This is another small balk, but balk by rule. We have to umpire based on the level of play and the reaction of the runners. We go from the stretch to the set, and then he moves his hands down before disengaging. That is a balk, because pitchers start their natural motion to deliver a pitch by bringing their arms downwards. And since the pitcher did not disengage first, he started his motion to pitch without delivering the pitch. That is a balk by rule. And this one, the runners are not reacting. There's not an advantage. Youth baseball, let's educate. We don't want to call all these small balks. But pitchers watching this video, you must move your foot to disengage prior moving your hands. The next example that we see a lot, pitchers practice this. We call it the double move. So the pitcher either moves his back heel or front foot prior to the pickoff. So this is in fast motion. All right. It is called a double move. And now we're going to go in slow motion what the double move looks like. Front foot moves prior, which is literally the natural start to deliver a pitch. This is not a balk because he moves his left foot forward. This is a balk because he's moving his left foot to start his natural motion to deliver a pitch, but he doesn't deliver a pitch. He picks off instead. So why does this affect a runner? Now let's look at the runner when he moves his front foot, which is indicating the start to deliver a pitch. You're going to see this runner start to move towards second base when the pitcher moves his front foot, which indicates the natural motion to deliver a pitch. And there it is. The front leg moves, and that runner starts going towards second base. So umpires, when this double move action takes place, what I, as an umpire, am looking for is the huge disadvantage on the runner. Am I going to call every single double move? No. But the double moves that lead to a pickoff and an out, yes. We cannot allow a pitcher to balk and then get the reward of picking off that runner. So once I know this runner is tagged out, we are going time, that's a balk, you, second base. The second type of balk is a pitcher feint to throw to third or first. The pitcher must disengage from the rubber to fake a throw to third and first. OBR rules, lefty cannot fake a throw to first base. A righty cannot fake a throw to third base. A righty cannot, without disengaging the rubber, spin and fake throw to first base. They must become a fielder to fake a throw to a base. Fail to step directly to the base before the pitcher throws to the base. So the misconception is 45-degree angle. False. It's halfway distance from home plate to first base. Halfway distance from home plate to third base. It's 45 feet, not 45-degree angle. All right, so we have the pitcher stepping on this side of the 45-foot runner's lane. They now must throw the ball to first base. If they throw or step on this side of the 45-foot runner's lane line, they now must throw a pitch home. Let's take a look at a video of a balk called stepping more towards home and throwing to first base. So in the umpire's judgment, this free foot stepped more towards home plate than the first base, and he did not deliver a pitch, therefore they called it a balk. This is a 4-person crew, so obviously the umpire at first base has the best look at this. 2-umpire crew, home plate umpire, you have the best look at this. But what this umpire is judging is where is this right foot compared to that 45-foot runner's lane. Halfway distance to first base. For it to be a legal pickoff, this foot must step directly towards first base on the other side of that 45-foot imaginary line. The fourth type of balk is faking a throw or throws to unoccupied base. So we have a runner at first base. The pitcher throws to second base. It's a balk if that runner was not going towards second base. If that runner on first takes off towards second, makes a hard jab step towards second, which forces the pitcher to make a play at second, that's legal. But if that runner on first base makes no attempt to go to second base, and that pitcher has a brain fart, throws to second base unoccupied, that is a balk. Pitcher makes an illegal pitch with runners on base. We saw that with the San Francisco Giants pitcher. No runners on base. It's a ball with runners on base. It's a balk. Pitcher pitches the ball while not facing the batter. So on that big spin move, if that pitcher never pivoted to face the batter and throw the ball, it would be a balk. So a pitcher facing the runner and throwing the pitch home would be a balk. I have not found a video on this action. Makes a pitching motion while not in contact with the pitcher's plate. Once again, this is disengaging and throwing a pitch. Disengaging and making it look like to the runners he's a pitcher still. We cannot allow that action. Hidden ball trick. Stands or astrides the pitcher's plate without the ball. They can, in OBR rules, be in the dirt circle. They cannot get up near that pitcher's plate and start looking like a pitcher without the baseball. Umpires, chest the baseball. If you're a base umpire and you know the third baseman has the ball at third base, stay close to that base. You have to be ready to umpire if that runner gets off the base. Home plate umpire, watch the pitcher. If he straddles or steps on that pitcher's plate without the ball, it is now a balk. Pitcher removes hand off the ball after bringing hands together. This is in that set and stretch situation. If the pitcher is in the stretch, they can have a momentary adjustment with the ball. But if they are in the stretch, they are getting signs from the catcher. They cannot take the ball out of their hand and then put it in the glove, or vice versa. Take it from the glove into their hand. Momentary adjustment, yes. But once they are in the stretch taking signs, they can't switch the position of the ball from hand or glove to hand. If the pitcher drops the ball while during the delivery, while coming to a set, as so long as that ball does not cross a fair foul line, that is a balk. And then, if the pitcher delivers a pitch before coming to a complete stop. This by far is the most challenged type of balk that coaches have with umpires. So we are going to take a look at a situation of a pitcher not coming to a complete stop versus did the pitcher come to a complete stop, while keeping in mind we cannot allow a pitcher to gain an advantage over a base runner. Let's take a look at the game situation in play. We have a left-handed pitcher in a 4-4 ball game, runner on third base, 2 outs. The pitcher is going from the stretch to the set position, delivers the pitch. So the question is that a complete stop? And the answer in this situation is yes. This runner at third base is not going to decide to steal home or not based on the hands. This runner at third base is not going to be put at a disadvantage with this stop position. So by philosophy, this is not going to be a balk for no stop. Consistently, we need to call this no balk when there's a runner on third base. No cheap scores. We're going to change the situation. Runner on first base, 4-4 ball game. That runner on first base is what we would call a green runner, a fast runner, and potential to steal. This is what we call know your personnel. Now, yes, the pitcher, lefty, facing the runner at first base, is going to be going off of the hands, the full body. And yes, this would not be a discernible complete stop with a runner at first base looking to get to second base. This would be a balk with a runner on first base because that runner is at a huge disadvantage, not knowing did that pitcher come to a stop or not. Consistently, we have to call this a balk when the runner can steal third, when the runner can steal second. So understanding the intent of the rule will help administer the rule. This is the art of umpiring. Now that we went over the 14 types of balk, now how do we penalize it? In OBR rules, which is what USSSA American Legion rules play by, the ball remains live as we yell, "That's a balk." The pitcher is allowed to complete the action of delivering the pitch or completing the pickoff throw. If the ball is caught by an infielder, whether it be the catcher, first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, third baseman, that is now when we call time and award the base runner 1 base. If the throw becomes wild, a wild pitch, it gets by the first baseman, gets by the third baseman, gets by the second baseman, the ball remains live because the runners are going to advance 1 base, and they can continue to advance that 1 base, but now they're at risk of being thrown out. Okay, so this is a good time of the season to practice. Take a look at film and call the balk. That catcher catches it, time. That's a balk. You, second base. Rewatch that video of the double move pickoff. That's a balk. First baseman catches it. Time. You. Second base. Practice balk calls. When players and coaches get frustrated, it's because we don't show confidence when we enforce the balk. Typically, umpires stay back. We don't want to get in the way in the game. Coach goes nuts. And then we say, yeah, that's a balk. You go to second base. Now the other coach is upset. That coach talked you into that call. So umpires, when you see a balk and it gains an advantage and it's an illegal act, that's a balk. Time. You. No stop. Second base. Confidence. Balk. The reason, which category of the balk, award the bases necessary. Final thoughts on pitching practice. We as umpires must focus from the end of the plate meeting to the end of the game. There is so much pitching infractions that can take place during quote-unquote dead time. We have to stay focused. Watch the warm-up pitches. Look for illegal pitching actions while they're warming up. Stay focused when there's runners on base. They are not going to balk every pitch. They're going to balk on the special situations. Look for oddities and be ready to explain why it's legal or why it's illegal. Just because it's odd does not make it illegal. Prevent and educate when you can. Don't pick a booger when you don't have to. If you see a pitching violation, if you see a balk, and nobody else sees it except you, wait until the half inning. Talk to that pitcher. Talk to that coach. Educate. Now, you can't do that in postseason high school. You can't do that at the college level, but you could do that at the youth and sub-varsity level. If a pitcher gains an advantage over the offensive team, we must enforce the rule. If a pitcher breaks a rule and gets an out, we cannot allow that out. We have to enforce the rule. And when it comes to the enforcement, level of play, level of game should change your threshold. Doesn't mean ignore it. Just means we don't have to call every single violation if it's a midweek friendly game and it's pitcher number 7 on a team staff. Let's help develop that 7th pitcher on that team staff. Final reminders and updates. Please visit our YouTube channel from our previous practices over strikes, outs, base awards. If you are looking to join Team PSOA, you could use this QR code. We have February 23rd, college baseball staff meeting, 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Definitely, if you are on a college staff, attend. If you're looking to potentially work college, JV this year, maybe 5 years from now, the sooner you get around fellow college umpires, hearing and seeing college rules, seeing and hearing college expectations, the more prepared you will be. We are going to go over high school rule differences March 2nd. So all of our practices were OBR rules. There's quite a few rules that are different for NFHS rules. We're going to cover these March 2nd along with the NSAA test. This year, we're going to have umpire-in-chiefs out on tournaments, out watching games with umpires that want to be observed by our UICs. March 9th, we are going to go over our observation form of professionalism, communication, mechanics, and judgment. And then remember, umpires, self-assign opens middle of March. Update your blocks now so you only see the games that are available on days you can umpire. If you leave everything open, you're only going to maybe see the first week of games. Whereas if you block days you cannot umpire, you're going to see only the days you're open to umpire, which might be through the month of May. All right, so self-assign opens middle of March. Get registered, complete practices. Thank you for taking time out with PSOA today. Until next time, officials, remember, you're only as good as your last call.